Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to First Church of Religious Science. Welcome to our self-healing class entitled Listening to the Messages Within. So our theme this evening is listening to the messages within, not with fear, not with frantic Googling at 3 a.m, but listening to your body with love, with curiosity, with a respect and a reverence. Louise Hay taught us that every part of the body holds a message, holds a pattern, a memory, a belief. And if we learn how to listen to our bodies, really listen, and this is one of the things that Louise was talking about, if we pay attention, we will unlock the first step in healing. So today or this evening isn't about blaming ourselves. Gosh, no, it's about awakening to ourselves, to the inner messages, the messaging, and discovering what the body has been trying to tell us all along. It's trying to tell us the universe is never punishing us, but life will give clues. All my good minister friends used to say that life gives clues. Life will nudge us, spirit will nudge us. It will try to bring us to truth, bring us to a place where we're more awake. Emerson said the same. So the body is always loving you through your life, through your body. So tonight, with that in mind, let's take a breath. Let's begin. Louise Hay used to say, the body, like everything else in life, is a mirror of our inner thoughts and our beliefs. The body, like everything else in life, is a mirror of our inner thoughts and beliefs. And Louise Hay knew, as we do, that there's an energy that's in us, operating in us and around us. It's a living activity, it's an intelligence, it's a presence. We might call it spirit, source, creative energy, mind, God. You can call it many different things. The thing to understand is it's always responding to us. It responds to what we say to ourselves, what we deeply say. And we're learning step by step in our teaching how to direct it. Louise would hold up her book, You Can Heal Your Life, and say, this book isn't about guilt. There's nothing in this book about guilt. This book is about waking up. It's about awareness. It's about knowing who you are. And she's really telling you are one with the one. And she's saying it's knowing about who you are and the power that you possess. Because once you know that you're one with it and you're creating through your thoughts, then, of course, you know how it works. You can change your thoughts. And that's the heart of today's class, today's message. We're never, ever going to criticize ourselves for being sick or tired or in pain. And we're not going to judge ourselves for aging or for the mistakes we've made along the way or the grief that we've carried. Louise taught us that we can heal our lives. And healing begins, first of all, with awareness, with waking up to what's operating beneath the surface. I'm always asking you to pay attention to the inner dialogue, right? So Louise was asking us to pay attention to what's operating beneath the surface. Our intention this evening is to become a little bit more conscious, become more conscious of the emotional roots that we have been carrying, or what some might call the emotional baggage that we have been carrying. Because so often, when something feels off to us, or when our body is in pain of one kind or another, there is something underneath that sense of being off, or there's something underneath that pain, something unspoken, something that's ready to come to light. I believe it was an author I used to like in recovery circles, Jacqueline Small, I think, who once said, all of our battered places need to come to light. And they do eventually. That means grief needs to come to light, resentment, hurt, anger, exhaustion, any belief that will say or whisper that you're not safe, any idea like that, anything that will say it's not okay to rest. You see, Louise had many gifts. One of them was helping people understand that this inner conversation is playing. It's playing in the background all the time. She encouraged us to listen to our bodies, to develop a dialogue with our body, and have a dialogue that begins with love. Because In any conversation, she thought, that begins with love, in other words, you're speaking to your body or parts of your body in appreciation. If you stay with that conversation long enough, beginning with love and appreciation, it's going to lead you to freedom. Wherever there's constriction, you're going to eventually be free of it if you can learn to have that type of conversation with your body. And when it comes to your body and healing, that dialogue always begins with questions like asking of yourself, what are you trying to show me? You could look at yourself in the mirror, or you could ask it to yourself privately, what are you trying to show me? Or for example, you have a pain in your arm or your thigh or something. You could look at your arm and you could say, what are you trying to show me with this pain that's near my elbow? What are you trying to show me? So you're trying to figure out what it's asking you to feel or hear or heal. We don't ask these questions to upset ourselves, by the way. We ask these questions to bring forth light and to become free. So today I'd like you to think of your body as a messenger. Not ever think that it's your enemy, or please don't think it's working against you. Think of your body as a messenger. So what if we stopped treating the body like a problem that needed to be fixed? What if we started thinking of the body and honoring it as a messenger? Something that gives you unique messages all the time. Louise reminded us again and again, the body is not our enemy at any point in our life. It doesn't betray us. It certainly doesn't punish us. It speaks to us. So when we take the pause, as we do, and realize that deep in the center of our being, there is this infinite something. When we tune in, our body, our being is going to speak to us. Our spirits are part of our body and our bodies are part of spirit. And when we tune in, when we listen, and we learn how to listen without fear, without shame, we realize that our body is on our side. It always answers, it gives you clues. It wants to be whole and it wants healing just as much as we do. So maybe your shoulders have been tight and you've been tense for weeks, or maybe you have anxiety when you walk into certain places. Maybe your knees ache when it's time to take a leap of faith. What if none of this is random? What if your body is trying to say, you've been carrying too much lately, or you've been carrying too much for a while. You've been carrying the weight of the world, and this isn't safe. Something needs to be said. Maybe it's trying to say, it's time to let this go. You see, this isn't magical thinking. This is what we call intuitive listening. And it's something we can all learn to do better. Instead of panicking automatically when something hurts and going towards worst case scenarios, we can begin by asking ourselves, what's happening in my inner world? Or what thought pattern is going on within me? What thought pattern might be surfacing now? Is this a call to rest? Is this a call to forgive? Maybe it's a call to speak up, to shift something within me. Of course, we still care for our bodies in practical ways. We see our doctors, we take the meds when we're supposed to and when they're needed, but we take this conversation a little deeper because we know the symptom that we're talking about is not the whole story. The symptom, whatever's ailing you, you might even think of it as an invitation, that ache, that pain, that something. You might think of it as an invitation to slow down or to become a little bit more present or to realign yourself with truth. We stop saying, what's wrong with me? And we start asking ourselves, what is ready to come forth? What's ready to heal in me? In our teaching, in the Science of Mind, we teach that we live in a spiritual system that's always responding to our thoughts. Not just our surface thoughts that we say out loud, but the deeper thoughts, the emotions, and the patterns that we have been holding inside. Ernest Holmes wrote, there is a spiritual prototype of perfection at the center of everything. That's an important idea for us to remember, to know that there is a pattern of perfection in our bodies and our organs. So Holmes is reminding us of that. that there's a spiritual prototype of perfection always at the center of everything. And that includes your body, at the center of every single organ, every muscle, every cell. There is an intelligence that knows wholeness. Now, we don't always feel it. We don't always live from that place, but it's there. And this is why healing is possible. We're not here to fix the problem or a broken body. What we're here to do is to realign ourselves with that idea of that divine pattern, with the truth of that which already exists within us. Louise was a master at this. She didn't deny medical realities, but she reminded us that we have a deeper identity than what shows up on a chart or on a scan. She helped us remember that our thoughts are creative and that the words we speak carry power. In religious science, we don't claim to know all the causes of illnesses or the cures, but we do know this: our consciousness matters, our beliefs matter. What we affirm and what we deny, what we hold in our mind, definitely makes a difference. It matters. And so today, this evening, we're not asking anyone to feel guilty for what the body is doing. We're asking you to remember who you really are, and that there is a divine pattern in operation within you and in each of your organs. I want to remind you that you are a spiritual being. You're housed in a sacred and responsive vessel. You're housed in a body that's trying to speak to you, trying to heal, trying to align with life. That's why we come back to the same question again and again. What is this moment asking of us? Or we could ask ourselves, where can I listen more deeply? What is Spirit trying to show me or tell me? What is Spirit trying to show me in my body right now? A number of years ago, when I was researching a lesson, I came across the story of a doctor. Her name was Rachel Naomi Remen. You might have heard of her. Again, a medical doctor, but not your typical kind of doctor. She spent most of her life working with people who were seriously, seriously sick, people facing cancer, facing loss, chronic pain. But she approached healing differently than most. Instead of focusing on the diagnosis, she listened for the story behind it. I'm reminded of her because I have a doctor who is very much like her. And they have a tendency to treat people not just as patients, but as spiritual beings or souls on a journey. And there's one thing that she wrote that I'll never forget. She said, the body can become a doorway to the soul. And went on to say, illness may be the soul's way of getting us to slow down, to listen to ourselves, and to come home. Of course, that quote got me to pause. Now, that's not something you'll hear every day in a doctor's office. And I want to repeat something else because it's worth hearing twice. She believed that illness could be a turning point for any of us. Not always a crisis, but an illness can be a moment of truth. It can be served up as a wake-up call from the deepest part of ourselves. And that's exactly what happened to Louise Hay. After her first cancer diagnosis, she didn't just go through the treatments. She went deeper. She asked herself, what's underneath this? She began to face the pain of her past. She began to release old patterns of fear and resentment, and she began to anchor herself in the power of love, the power of connection, the power of forgiveness. Louise didn't just write "You Can Heal Your Life" from theory. She wrote it from her own experience, having lived it, having worked with the teaching. She knew what courage it took to look inward, and she knew that the reward that comes from doing this spiritual work that we talk about week after week. Sometimes pain is what brings us back to ourselves. And then when you're dealing with something like that, you stop running, you stop trying to earn your worth or prove yourself, you stop pushing so hard, and you begin to listen. You take the pauses that are necessary. You listen to your body, not just to the pain, but to what the pain is pointing you to. Instead of, why is this happening to me? Or why is this happening to me again? We begin to ask, what is this showing me? What is this awakening me to? Or where have I been too hard on myself? Or what part of me needs more attention? What part of me needs more love? Louise said, if we're willing to do the mental work, if we're willing to keep self-correcting, do the mental work, almost anything can be made better. Almost anything can be healed. But the key part is right there at the beginning. If we are willing. Now, we said that in different talks. Willingness is the key. So if we're willing to listen to self, if we're willing to center ourselves, and if we're willing to feel what we need to feel, and if we're willing to see the body as a partner, not a battlefield, but a partner, life will help us. It will give us clues. That kind of willingness, that quiet willingness, that shift inside, is what begins to move the energy. That's what opens up the door to healing. You might remember or know of Martha Graham. She was a great modern dancer, choreographer, and she spent her entire life using the body to express what words could never. She once said something simple and powerful, something that ties directly into our theme. She said, the body never, never lies. And she was right, because the body isn't just skin and bones. It's a living vessel of spirit. The body is a living vessel of spirit, and there is a knowing, there is an intelligence in the body, a wisdom that doesn't come from books or theories or even language. It's the knowing part of us. It's the intuition that's in us. The knowing of something deeper inside of us that's always connected, always aligned with truth, with source. And here's the thing, when we ignore it for long enough, we feel cut off from life. We feel separation. And when we honor it, when we get connected, we take those pauses, we feel alive, we heal, we feel the connection with source. So this evening isn't just about pain or symptoms. It's about returning to the center, returning to the truth that's already here, right now, in our bodies, in our breath, in the still small voice that is always there, that never leaves us. So we can ask, how do we begin listening in a new way? Well, you don't need to be a healer to do it. You don't need to figure everything out. You just need a moment of quiet, a moment of centering, and of course, a little willingness. And here's a simple practice that we can try this week, or even tonight. You could find a quiet moment and place your hand on any part of your body. Let's say it's on your hand. Maybe you've had pain. Put your hand on any part of your body that's calling for your attention. It might be your heart, could be your stomach, or maybe your neck. Just trust whatever feels right. Let your hand go there. Take a breath and say silently to yourself or aloud, I'm listening to you. And then ask with love, what are you trying to tell me? So up at your neck, I'm listening to you. What are you trying to tell me? What do you need to tell me right now? Or what do you need from me right now? So say it kindly, as if you're talking to someone you love. You might not hear an answer right away, but if you do this, you're going to get the answers. And you can trust that something is shifting as you do that. Even asking the question creates a softening within, opening up a space. And then when something does come to you, a memory or an idea, a word or a feeling, whatever it is, say it out loud or make a note of it at least. Even if it's small, even if it surprises you, honor it because you will get answers. Louise often said, loving yourself is the foundation for all healing. So go to whatever area, put your hand there, acknowledge it. What do you ask of it? What are you trying to show me? What can I do? This practice is one of the ways to do that, to love yourself. Love yourself enough to ask the questions, to slow down and do that, to listen, and to respond with care. You don't need to solve everything. You're just building a new relationship with yourself, one that's based on partnership instead of punishing our bodies. Try it once or try it every day this week, and you'll be amazed how things will move for you. You might be surprised what comes forward when you give your body a safe space to speak. So let's take a moment now to bring all this into practice. Not just by thinking about healing, but speaking it, speaking healing, feeling it, letting it move through you. You don't need to type anything in the chat room or anything like that, or even believe every word just yet. But if you're in a space where you can speak, say these affirmations with me. Let your voice carry the energy of truth, of love, of healing. So take a breath with me. You can repeat in your own voice. I'm going to give you a few. I listen with love to the messages of my body. I listen with love to the messages of my body. Another great one. My body is my ally, not my enemy. My body is my ally, not my enemy. And this one is wonderful. Every symptom is an invitation to healing. Every symptom is an invitation to healing. And I trust the wisdom that lives in every cell. I trust the wisdom that lives in every cell. And I'm learning to respond with kindness, not fear. So whatever is coming up, whatever you notice, you could say, I'm learning to respond with kindness, not fear. Followed by, my body is a sacred expression of life. My body is a sacred expression of life. It is safe to feel. It's safe to rest. It's safe to heal. I'm returning to balance, one breath at a time. Yes, returning to balance. Let yourself feel what you just spoke. These aren't just phrases, they're invitations. Your body heard you, and something within you is already responding. It's already listening to the body with love. So let's take a moment to bring it all inward. If you feel safe to do so, you could close your eyes for a moment or soften your gaze towards the floor. Let the outside world fade away for a moment or two and take a deep breath in and out. Let your shoulders relax, unclench your jaw, just relax and cross your arms or legs if you're able. Let yourself arrive right here, right now, in your body. There's no need to fix anything. We are simply listening. Now gently bring our awareness to our body. Feel the contact between your body and the chair beneath you. Feel your breath again in and out. Bring your attention to any part of your body that might be holding a little bit of tension, fatigue, discomfort. Whatever it is, let your awareness rest there for a second or two without worry or judgment. Now imagine a warm, healing light beginning to flow through toward that part of your body. Could feel like sunlight or something soft and safe. A quiet presence that says, I see you, I love you, I'm here. Now gently ask this part of your body, what do you need me to know? What do you need me to know? And what would bring you ease? What have you been holding for me? What have you been holding? And just listen to your body. Even if nothing comes to you right away, trust that something inside of you is softening, opening up. Let this part of your body feel seen. Let it be heard. Now imagine that same golden light expanding from one spot to the rest of your body, flowing through your chest, your arms, your spine, your hips, and your legs, all the way to your hands and your feet. Let this light carry the energy of love, of trust, of safety, and silently affirm with me, my body is wise, my body is listening, and I'm listening too. So let's take one more deep breath in and exhale. And when you feel ready, gently bring your awareness back to the room. Wiggle your fingers, roll your shoulders, open your eyes, knowing that something inside you has already begun to shift. So now I'm going to go to our affirmative prayer. So right here, right now, we are one with the one. We recognize the power and the presence of life flowing in and through every cell of our body. knowing that there is one source, one intelligence, and it expresses itself through me as breath, as heartbeat, as healing. I no longer see the body as separate from spirit. It is spirit. It's outpicturing of consciousness, and it is wise. It's responsive, and it's capable of healing. I declare now that I'm willing to listen, willing to soften, willing to love what I once tried to ignore or silence. I know the body is not the enemy. It's not the battlefield. I know that my body is my partner, my messenger, a sacred home. I bless my body, I trust my body, and I speak life to it now. I affirm that something good has already begun today, tonight, whether it's a shift in perception, a moment of self-kindness, or the courage to ask a new question. I know that healing is unfolding in divine timing, not on a schedule of fear, but in the rhythm of grace. I trust this grace. I trust this rhythm now. I give thanks. I give thanks for every signal that the body has sent, for every breath still flowing, and for every ounce of truth that has come to light. I release this affirmative prayer into the creative law of life, knowing it's done. I let it be so, and so it is. So, here we are together. Thank you for all being here. It's time for us to open up the cameras. We've spoken words of love. We've listened with courage, and we've honored the quiet wisdom of our body. And as we do this more and more, the body will communicate with you. So now we're going to open up the gathering so everybody can say hello. You can share about what came up for you. We have at least 1 or 2 minutes for everyone who wants to share. So maybe something resonated. Maybe you've had this kind of dialogue going on with your body before. Maybe this is new. Maybe something stirred inside for you today. So we invite you to share, speak openly. I'd like to hear from as many people who want to share. Please, if you're new, say hello, where you're from, and so we can say welcome to First Church. Thank you all for being here. And so it is.